Welcome to Rabcast. I'm Daniel Weiner. We're all familiar with the concept of necessary evil, a distasteful or even contemptible act made necessary by extreme circumstances. It evokes our need to confront a paradox of sometimes oxymoronic proportions. The notion of a just war seems to be such a challenge. In this week's Torah portion, Shoftim, we encounter the earliest elements of an evolving Jewish just war doctrine. For a people encouraged to seek peace and pursue it, this concession to the practical needs of a violent, Hobbesian ancient Near East offers a judicious balancing of ideals in a dangerous world. It's a given that defending a people and a land will require war and violence. Israel differed from most tribal contemporaries in qualifying the conduct of war. Where other peoples condoned total annihilation of enemies amidst scorched earth, the Torah constrains and guides the bloodlust of the dogs of war. Besieged cities must be given opportunities to surrender. Israelite soldiers too distracted by the needs of home or too faint of heart to fight are exempted. And fruit trees surrounding a city must not be destroyed, anticipating an eventual reconciliation with and reconstruction of the enemy. For Jews, warfare must not be wanton. It must be limited by a higher morality even in the heat of battle. The modern state of Israel implements this ethos through tohar neshek, the purity of arms. Most casualties amongst Israeli soldiers over the last 30 years resulted from house-to-house searches in place of indiscriminate carpet bombing, a rule of engagement that sets Israel apart from most modern armies, including that of the United States. This summer has seen two notable examples of the intersection of values and violence. Israel's defense against rocket attacks from Gaza and its elimination of a sophisticated tunnel network primed for a 9/11-style attack on Rosh Hashanah was as necessary and justified as it was inevitably troubling. Even when the heinous minions of Hamas cynically exploit their fellow Gazans as human shields and a means to discredit Israel, images of dying children pull at the hearts and consciences of us all. Even the best of intentions and loftiest of rules fell short when confronting an enemy that hates Jews more than it loves its own children. But there was little else Israel could do short of suicidal negligence. Perhaps our tradition's overarching push to pursue peace will compel Israel's leaders to find a diplomatic solution that will prevent the next, even more lethal and costly conflagration. And amongst the many disturbing aspects of the unrest in Ferguson, Missouri, the highly militarized and overabundantly armed police response was chilling. The need for a scalpel met the law enforcement exuberance of a machete. Even in a post-9/11 world, with its surplus of military materiel left from a decade-plus of war, we must be cautious in our response to unrest, especially domestic disquiet, using only the proportionate force required to quell the trouble at hand. Shock and awe may satisfy the need for cogent sound bites, but they are not Jewish nor human values. The father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer, in response to the realization that his efforts, at first thought to be defensive, resulted in not only the deaths and sufferings of hundreds of thousands, but the launch of a nuclear arms race with increasingly powerful genocidal weapons, reflected on the following from the Hindu Bhagavad Gita. In battle, in forest, at the precipice in the mountains, on the dark great sea, in the midst of javelins and arrows, in sleep, in confusion, in the depths of shame, the good deeds a man has done before defend him. In the face of necessary evil, may the majority of our deeds reveal our true intentions, even when the strains of circumstance demand from us the unimaginable. Shabbat Shalom.